Terry Brannon was born in Hanley, Stoke-on-Trent on November the 28th, 1923, the eldest of three children to Mary and Matthew Brannon. Terry was the eldest of the three, with his brother Morris and Eileen all 2 years apart. Terry was raised in Stoke-on-Trent until he left the town to go to Trinity College of Music and also joining the Coldstream Guards. He later got a gig with a six-piece orchestra at the Hamilton Princess in Bermuda. After arriving in Bermuda in December of 1949, the six members of the Jack Wallace Orchestra all looked at each other as they were crossing the causeway and said, "We're not leaving this place." They couldn't believe the beauty of Bermuda. The orchestra had a 6-month contract at the Hamilton Princess, which was renewed. Every couple of weeks, Terry would go to the Hamilton post office to mail money back to his mum in Stoke-on-Trent. Whilst there, he met the beautiful Marion Ware. 10 months later, they got married. And 9 months later, Tony Brannon was born. On September 30th, 1951, Anthony Ware Brannon was born at the King Edward Memorial Hospital in Paget. He was christened a Catholic, and my sister was born on October the 24th, 1953, 2 years later, and christened a Protestant. A very convoluted family, religious upbringing, I might add. My sister Marilyn and I fondly remember going to the South Shore beaches with Mum and Dad and having great times at the beach. Great family times. We'd also go to England on summer holidays to visit my Nana and also my granny up on Stoke-on-Trent. We had a great time as kids. Mum and Dad built their only house on Gilbert Hill in Smiths Parish in 1960. Marilyn and I used to have lots of fun running around on the construction site as kids after school. This was a fabulous house right on top of one of the highest hills in Bermuda. Hey, it seemed like it was just a flash from being kids at Sunset Strip to being teenagers and little rebels that we were. We had a great time. Mum and Dad became very, very friendly with a family called the Roylances, John and Joan, and they had a son, Christopher. And we had lots of good times at the Roylances as kids. We'd have eggnog at Christmas and dance around in the garden. I think the Twist, Chubby Checkers, the Twist, was the big hit at the time. And we would all be doing the Twist in the garden. And it was lots of good fun. Almost every Saturday night in Bermuda, Mum and Dad and the Roylances would go out to some of the great places in Bermuda to spend the evening. The Castle Harbor, the Elbow Beach, and so on and so forth. They really had a great time. We spent many a Christmas with the Roylances, celebrating Christmas Day, taking turns or which house we'd go to. This one was at Sunset Strip on Gilbert Hill. Dad was carving the turkey, or trying to carve the turkey. He never could do the turkey quite good enough for Mum, but then, that was Mum. Auntie Minnie's there, myself, my sister, Christopher Roylance, John Roylance, and good family friends and good memories. It's great to have some old clips of some of these times back in the late 50s. And Joan Roylance came twisting out of the living room, as did Nelson McKnight. We were all doing the twist back in those days. It was just the thing we all did. It was the rage of the times. Let's twist again, like we did last summer. In the early 70s, my father went on a round-the-world trip with his partner, Ernest Ritchie. They went everywhere: Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Lebanon, Italy. Obviously, these are scenes from Rome, and they just had a great ball. And at the end of their trip, we all met up as a family and went to Austria for our first family holiday in the Alps. It was a lot of fun. I learned to ski. Nobody else really did. The rest fell down a lot, what can I tell you? In the late 70s, my sister Marilyn was dating a guy called John Feldman, who was in the music business in London, along with Peter Collins and Peter Waterman. Marilyn brought John out to Bermuda to meet the family, and we used to spend a little bit of time taking John around, going out on boats, showing around the island, and it was good memories. And of course, she got married to John a little bit later on in London. One of the proudest moments for my dad was when I graduated with a degree from Cornell University from the hotel school. It was a great bunch of years, 3.5 years of fantastic times at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. Great memories for sure. Shortly after Marilyn and John left Bermuda, they got married at the London Marylebone Registry Office with a reception at the Inn on the Park. It was a great time. All the family was there, relatives and so on and so forth. Great start for their life together. And then they moved shortly thereafter to Bermuda. And John joined us at the 40 Thieves Club. After Dad's stint at the Hamilton Princess with the orchestra and working for a couple of years at Masters, he opened up his record shop called the Bandstand on the corner of Queen Street and Church Street. Locals used to flock to the Bandstand to buy the latest records, instruments, organs, guitars, amplifiers. I remember my good friend Paul Muggleton bought his first Vox guitar there. Dad also entered the Easter Parade pageant, and here he is with his float, his Lowry organ float, in the Easter Parade in 1959.
Yes, open, O sesame, and bring us magnificence and excitement unparalleled on the screen.
The murals of the 40 Thieves were designed by Arthur Cooper and Mac Musson, later to be restored by Peter Leckie in the 70s. The scenes were from Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Here is Arthur and Mac Musson. My dad so loved the 40 Thieves. He was absolutely alive with the whole idea of bringing foreign entertainment and presenting local entertainment to locals and visitors alike. It was a fantastic opening night. All the dignitaries were there. So many fantastic people came to the 40 Thieves for Mel Torme's opening, including Quentin Edness amongst some of the distinguished guests. To grow up as a kid with my dad owning the 40 Thieves, with all these superstars coming to perform there, was just amazing. It was magical. You know, everybody from the Shirelles, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Matt Monroe, Tom Jones, Cilla Black, Benny King. It was amazing how many artists came to the 40 Thieves. Ike and Tina Turner. And here is my sister dancing with the amazing King Coleman. Here are a few pictures of Mel Torme on his visits to Bermuda. In 1970, I got selected to go on the Tom Jones tour. Here is Tom with our family when he was visiting Bermuda. Here are some scenes from my parents' 25th wedding anniversary at the 40 Thieves.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
In 1966, Dad brought the legendary band, the Merrymen, from Barbados to Bermuda, who completely brought the house down. So much so that the fire marshal had to tell them to slow it down because the floor was bouncing up and down too much. They thought it might just cave in. They were fantastic. Dad was a huge supporter of local entertainment. The Strollers were one of the great bands that performed at the 40 Thieves, along with the Savages and many, many other local artists. In 1979, the original 40 Thieves came to a close, with the last act being Peaches and Herb. In 1982, John Feldman and Tony B opened up the new 40 Thieves, featuring great acts like Nils Lofgren from the E Street Band, Paul Carrick, Jeff Golub, Billy Preston, and many, many others.
This is the last night for this place, so we hope we're all going to have a good time. Let's see you make some noise with these things. I know tonight she's young. I know she's gonna do it to you one more time. I know she's gonna stay and have to hit my mind. Why does she keep me hanging all around?
The first golf club Dad joined was the Ocean View Golf Course. He really loved playing up there with the local guys. He also later joined the Mid-Ocean Golf Course and was a member of the Belmont and also the Port Royal, where he was chairman of the committee of the Port Royal for a number of years, and he was a close confidant and friend of MP Kim Swan. In 1989, Mom and Dad moved to spend their twilight years in Florida. Dad, all the family miss you. I know you would love to be here to see all your grandchildren again, but I know you're looking down at us and we're looking up at you, and we miss you. Happy birthday. Happy 100th birthday.
Please join me in celebrating Terry Brannon, who's being recognized posthumously with the 2017 Bermuda Arts Council's Founders Award. And his sister Marilyn.
Lennon was here a couple of weeks ago, so I said hello to him when he was here.
Didn't miss that
Nice to meet him.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, what's he like, having met
It's just like his dad.
Yeah.
He looks like his dad, and he's got a sarcastic humor like his father.
Mm.